Welcome to Draw This. In this episode, we're going to be drawing a chipmunk. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll be working in Corel Painter 2018 today. I'm starting with a canvas that is toned light gray, so that I'm not starting with just a white canvas. And I'm going to create a sketch using the smooth palette knife on a separate layer using a medium gray color. Now, I'm just going to sketch this out loosely. I'll be able to clean up my sketch a little bit later and refine it a bit. I'm really just trying to block out each general overlapping shape. So I got the head, I got the arms, I got the legs, I got the tail and the body and the ears and so on. And it's okay if it kind of looks like a shaved rat, because that's basically what a chipmunk is. It's kind of a rat looking animal, and if you take all the hair off of it when you're drawing in its basic form, then it looks kind of like a shaved rat. So that'll work for the outline, but to create a little bit of three-dimensionality on a separate layer, I'm going to use the airbrush just to kind of spray in some lighter and darker colors to help build up those three-dimensional shapes. I can also put in some of the patterns in the fur. There's some darker and lighter areas on the fur pattern, and I can put those in. I can also put in a little bit of background on the canvas layer, just so it's not all flat white. And then I can go back to my layer that I'm using for the sketch, and I can start adding more detail. Now I'm going to start indicating some of that fur. And I want to think about the length of the fur. It's not all the same length across the entire body. The fur is longer in some places and shorter in others. I'll just continue cleaning up my sketch. I can use my eraser anywhere where I need to erase lines. I can add lines, and I can save my progress as I go along. I'm going to switch to the Distorto brush now, and that'll help me smudge the paint around and kind of helps me to reshape my chipmunk. That can be easier than redrawing things sometimes. I've gone ahead and named those layers Sketch and Shading, and I'm going to select both of them, and I'm going to go ahead and just move them around a bit to reposition them on the canvas, and even stretch or squash them if I need to reshape my chipmunk here. Once that's done, I'm going to continue adding more detail with a fine brush that's a little bit darker in value. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of build up the form using lighter and darker colors, but I'm going to use mostly pencil. This isn't a pencil brush, it's a palette knife, but it looks a lot like a pencil. And so that's kind of the look I'm going for in this piece. It's kind of like a pencil drawing, or maybe a colored pencil drawing. I'm just drawing in all these little individual tufts of fur here and there and everywhere, and I just want to think about where the fur is dark and concentrate on that darker fur first. We'll worry about the lighter fur and the mid-tone fur later. But just kind of hunting around in my reference photo for those areas and putting them in. There's a shadow under the tail there, that's pretty dark. I'll just draw some details on the feet and clean those up. The trick is not to necessarily draw every single individual hair that's on this chipmunk here, but you want to draw the little clumps of hairs and kind of imply them. I'm going to switch to a lighter color, and I'll put in some lighter fur on a separate layer. It's important to contour the hairs to the shape of the body, so the hairs aren't all going in the same direction. They're curving around the form of the feet and the tail. The tail is a long cylinder. The body's kind of cylindrical. The arms are cylindrical, and so make sure the hairs kind of flow along those shapes rather than just all going the same direction, because then it won't look right. I've gone ahead and switched back to my dark layer and my dark color. I'm just putting in some mid-tone fur now. This is kind of the middle color in between the lights and the darks. And I'll be working back and forth building this up between light and dark and mid-tones as I go along here. The other thing I'm paying attention to is the length of the hair. I want the length of my brush stroke to be approximately the length of the hair that I'm drawing. So over here on the chest, the hair is a little bit longer compared to somewhere like the face where it's a little bit shorter, or the tail where it's kind of somewhere in between. And I always want to keep that in mind when I'm drawing these hairs. Now I want to do a little more shading to build up the form on this piece, but I want to make sure that that shading that I do stays within the shape of my chipmunk here so that I don't have to worry about cleaning up any edges. To do that, I'm going to use a selection brush. I can just paint over the area that I want to stencil off, and as long as I'm adding to the selection, I can lift my pen up and continue painting with a larger or smaller brush just to get a nice even selection of the entire chipmunk here. And now if I create a new layer and use that for shading, I can paint into it without painting outside of my chipmunk. All of my paint's going to stay within that selection. That just makes it much quicker and easier. I don't have to waste time cleaning up edges and erasing extra paint that I don't want. So I'm just going to continue working back and forth between light and dark colors, still using that small brush so I get that nice pencil effect. It also works very well for the fur. And just building it up, looking in my reference photo for the light areas, the dark areas, and the medium areas. It's a lot like when you're working on a puzzle. you have the picture of the completed puzzle on the box, and you use that as a reference to look for each little puzzle piece that matches a certain area. And when you're looking on the box, you're looking at a very small puzzle piece size area. That's kind of what I'm doing with my reference photo. If I'm working on the eye, I'm only looking at the eye in the reference photo, and just trying to focus on smaller areas rather than bigger areas. In other cases, I'm focusing on bigger, broader details like the overall pattern and the shape of the body and the light and dark contrast. So you do kind of work back and forth as you go along. You'll see I jump around a lot here when I'm painting. That's just kind of how I like to paint. I do have kind of a process overall, but it doesn't mean that I only work on the eye until that's finished, and then I do the nose, and then I do the mouth. I jump around back and forth, and I kind of try to build up a little bit of detail overall across the entire piece, little by little. Now, I'm not stuck with that sketch. I can create additional layers and just paint over my sketch to bring in more light and dark colors. For example, I added a little more detail to that finger there on the hand and added a claw. And so I can really just kind of build this up the way that I want to using layers. And if I don't like the way that I painted that finger or any of those details I added on that layer, I can just delete that layer. I don't have to repaint my entire painting. I'm just adding some more little fine details here and there, maybe add some whiskers on a separate layer. That way, if I don't get those right, then I can just repaint them without messing anything up. And the chipmunk's still looking a little flat, so I'm going to go back to those shading layers, and I'm just going to add a little more shading here and there just to brighten it up and darken it in a few areas. That helps it look more three-dimensional. Go back to that detail layer, and I'll just kind of pump up the tail here by adding some more light and dark hairs to it. Notice when I put dark hairs in between light hairs, it really helps it look more realistic. I'll also add in some detail in the background. It doesn't need to be anything too obvious. I'm just trying a few different looks here and seeing what I like. Might put in a little bit of thick paint and see if that helps. I want to change the angle of the lighting to match the angle of the lighting in the piece using surface lighting. Might put in a few little stones and things on the ground here and there. And then I'll go ahead and merge those background layers down with the canvas and use a big diffuse blur just to blend over that stuff, just to set it back into the background and make it less distinct. Then I'll go over the top of it with a pencil just to help it look consistent with that pencil style. I'm just adding some light and dark lines and shading here and there. And adding these underpaintings of value using these softer brushes really helps to give you kind of a foundation that you could put these finer hairs on top of. Next, I'm going to add a new layer on top of all the other layers. I'm going to set it to a composite method of overlay, and I'm going to fill it with a medium neutral gray color. I'll go ahead and select a paper color, and I will go to Effects, Surface Control, Apply Surface Texture, and I can add a paper texture. I may want to adjust it and make it finer. Once I get the texture that I like, I can go ahead and add a mask to that layer, and then use something like the sponge to mask away some of it so it's not a consistent repeating pattern. And what I end up with is a texture layer that's on top of all my other layers, so when I paint and draw underneath, it's always going to have that nice paper texture. And I just want to make sure that I don't ever paint on top of that paper texture layer. Now that I'm pretty happy with the grayscale painting, I can add color to it now. I'm going to right-click on the shading layer and choose Select Layer Content to get a selection of the chipmunk. And I'll use my selection brush in the Add mode just to go ahead and even it out. I should have saved my selection earlier, and then I would have had access to it again if I needed to recall it rather than having to repaint it. So this time I'll go ahead and save it by going to Select Save Selection, and that way if I need it again later, I can get it. I'll create a new layer at the top of all the layers right underneath the paper texture. I'll call it Tinting, and I'll select my messy dab brush, which is a glazing brush. I'll also set the composite method of that layer to multiply, and I can use it to build up thin, transparent layers of color. And I'll just go ahead and start adding in the appropriate colors here on my chipmunk. These kind of reddish browns. If I use lighter pressure, I get a thinner glaze. If I use firmer pressure and I start to build it up, I'll get a thicker, more opaque glaze. It usually ends up looking darker as well. I'm going to shift my color to a blue-gray, and there's going to be some reflected color from the sky reflecting off of the gray fur. And so that gray fur will actually be gray with a little bit of the sky color in it. That's why I'm using that blue color. I'll switch to some yellowish browns and I'll put those in, followed by some more saturated yellows, and just try to get all the correct colors in here on this chipmunk. Now if I want to add some color to the background, I'm just going to go to Select and I'll invert my selection. That way it's selecting everywhere outside of my chipmunk, and then I can create a new layer, set it to multiply, and I can go ahead and add some glazing on that layer. It won't affect the chipmunk, it'll just affect the area surrounding it. So I'll go back to tinting or glazing on my chipmunk now. I can add a few more oranges. If I want to remove some of that glaze, I can just select white and I can paint over areas where I've already glazed, and that will essentially erase the glaze. I'm going to add in a few more shadows here using kind of a dark blue color wherever there's deep dark areas, and just keep going back and forth between yellows and orange reds, just to build up those colors slowly little by little. Now there are some colors that just don't look that great when you put them on top of gray, and those are usually bright saturated colors, especially yellows. So you may want to take your pencil out again, and this time use a colored pencil. It can be that exact same smooth palette knife, just with color added, and add in some hairs that are a bit brighter and a bit more saturated over those areas of color that you already put in. So you'll notice on the arm I put in some brighter reds, on the face I put in some brighter yellows, and on the white stripe I put in some lighter, whiter yellow stripes. Now, if you end up overdoing it with highlights, feel free to select darker colors that are appropriate for that area of color and put it back in some shadows. That way it looks like there's shadows being cast by the different clumps of fur. Also do a little bit of work on the eye and just make it look nice and reflective. You could think of it like a big ball of glass, and so it should be reflecting things surrounding it in the environment and on the chipmunk itself. I'm going to help the chipmunk stand out more by going to the canvas layer, which is the background, and just using an airbrush with a lighter color just to brighten it up surrounding the top area of the chipmunk there. Might even add some blue down towards the bottom just to help draw the eye in towards the center of the canvas. I'll go ahead and save a copy of my artwork, and then I'll start merging all my layers down. That way I have just my paper texture and then one single layer. I'll go ahead and save a copy again. Then I'll use my Distorto brush at a low strength setting just to nudge some things around and kind of reshape my chipmunk and get it looking a little more the way I want it to. You can also use pinch and bulge. Pinch will kind of compress things together, and bulge will inflate them like a balloon. This is a good way just to make some little changes without having to redraw too much. Now I'm just going to continue adding more little fur details here and there with my pencil and just cleaning up little edges and things. Trying to kind of help the colors pop out by adding in some brighter colors so it doesn't look too dull. Now I know it looks like I've probably drawn 500,000 hairs, and that's because I have, and that really is the best way to get a nice furry effect. Now you will want to take breaks. My hand did cramp up several times from drawing so many individual hairs, and so I'd take breaks periodically and stretch my hand. If you don't, you're going to get a very, very sore hand when you're working this way. Now I think it's almost winter, so this chipmunk is going to bulk up a little bit. I'll use the bulge brush just to beef him up a little bit more and make him a bit thicker, a little bit more burly. And I'll just continue adding more fur. I want him to look kind of shiny, so in a few areas I might make the fur a little more glossy by using lighter, brighter colors. I'll also enhance some of the little pebbles that are on the ground in the background. I notice that the arm is a bit too dark, so I'm going to lighten that up a bit just by using colors that are just a little bit lighter. And then just add in more and more little details here and there for fur. And then now I want to save my artwork as a PSD, that way I can bring it into Photoshop. And here in Photoshop, I'm going to cut my artwork onto a new layer, then go to Transform Warp. And I want to just warp it a little bit. I feel like the chipmunk needs to be a little more hunched over. And I can just easily reshape it like this. Maybe make the tail angled more down. Click on the check to commit. There's a little bit of area at the top where my canvas doesn't cover the actual area that I'm working on, so I'll just scale it and make it a little bit larger so it fills that area. Then I'll go to History, and then I can take a look at the before and after to see the effect that that had. I'm going to go ahead and save this again as a new version, and I'll bring it back into Corel Painter, and I want to make a few more tweaks here and there and clean a few more things up. Just get this looking a little more polished. And I'm going to continue adding thousands and thousands of more hairs. Again, it's just a lot of drawing little hairs, but these kind of details make it look more realistic. If you don't add all these little hairs, then it's not going to look very furry. So unfortunately, that just takes a lot of effort. But again, you can take breaks, you can come back to it later, and you don't have to do it all in one sitting. I'm going to create another multiply layer and use it to do some tinting, because I feel like it needs to be a little bit darker in some areas and a little bit more brown here and there. That's just helping to balance it out. I could use that selection if I want to, or I could just very carefully try not to paint off of my chipmunk here. I'm really just getting down to the final touches. These are very small things that kind of eventually add up to really make a difference, but you might look at this and it might not look like I'm really doing much, but this is just me kind of being very nitpicky and not being entirely happy with it and wanting to make sure that it's perfect. You could also adjust the color. You might find that that helps to saturate it or shift the hue a little bit. But I think I'm getting pretty near the end, so I'm just going to put in a few more little hairs here and there You could even use some funky colors that you wouldn't think would be in the painting. Like you could make a couple of hairs in a few places green, or put a few little specks on the ground that are different colors. And all that stuff just kind of adds more visual interest to the piece and helps it look less flat and less monochromatic. And a few more little brush strokes and little tweaks here and there. And I think with that, I have a finished painting of a chipmunk. If you enjoyed this episode of Draw This, take a quick second to like this video. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. I have a lot more digital art videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.